good evening and welcome to Expats Portugal's Thursday night webinar for premium members. Welcome premium members. If you'd like to join them, go to expatsportugal.com and sign up there. You'll see the various packages on offer. And we'll probably get some testimonials from Expats Portugal premium members tonight who'll tell you how great that is. So do say hi to us about that in the chat, please, members. And of course, it's everything you need to know tonight about Portugal's visas for 2025. With Gilda Pereira leading the presentation with colleagues Claudia and Anna here as well. Gilda, good evening to you. It's a great webinar to be doing as we go into 2025 with so much renewed and a spike of interest in moving to Portugal. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Carl, for having me once again, the first time on 2025. I hope that this will be a good year for everyone, despite everything that is happening in the planet. We need to keep positive. And if you are thinking about relocating and have a better life, better quality of life in a country that, even though it's chilly, you can still see the sun shining, here we are to help you with the relocation process. We are more than a relocation company. We do everything with passion and love, and our clients are usually very happy with the service. So here we are to help you and to explain, to clarify everything that you need. So yes, those are my wishes and my thoughts for this new year.
That's beautiful. Thank you very much indeed for setting us up like that. So maybe as we bring the presentation onto the screen, you've got Anna and you've got Claudia helping you behind the scenes here. I hope we'll get to say hello to them in the after recording part of the session that we do every Thursday evening. Let's say hello to some of the premium members here. Paul is in the Algarve. Happy New Year. The year of change, says Paul. Tom Smith in Ohio, -3 over there. James in Estoril. Yes, Estoril Cascais. Okay, you threw me there, James. Hola, boa noite from Cascais. Suzanne in Figueira da Foz, visiting and scouting. This is what our premium members are up to. Alan in sunny Manchester, not so sunny now as it's dark. Stephen in Coventry, presuming that's the one in the UK. Marcos in Houston. Boa tarde, Houston, Texas. Good afternoon from Houston, you say. Ed and Sharon, Ontario, Canada. Sama from Palestine. This is Sama and Salma. Good evening to you. Dennis from New York City and Helena. Debbie in Coimbra, of course, and we've got Evan, Lewis. We'll come back and say more greetings or receive your greetings. Thank you so much for telling us where you are and how you're doing this evening. Let's bring that presentation up onto the screen, shall we? And let Gilda get underway here. Oh, testimonial. Gilda's team helped me get my NIF number. Simple things like that. It was very easy to do, and her team is very nice, says Tom there. So you're first.
Thank you about for saying that about my team. My team is indeed very nice, and they are awesome. As you can see, today it's evening, and they have kids and family, and they are here with me helping. So thank you, Anna and Claudia. I also want to say that yes, we got this needs to be said about the NIF again. Some people keep saying that you can get the NIF online with these companies. Even this week, I saw a company that says that has a partnership with the tax authority in Portugal, which of course it's not true. How can they say this to people? And then as a tax representatives, or it can even be in the paper, but they will never, for the service that they charge, they will never be sending you the correspondence of the tax office, or sometimes the service is so bad that they don't even send you the tax passwords, the passwords for your NIF number, which can put you in a lot of trouble. So yes, you can find cheapest service, but if you want something to be done and well done, I know that we are not the cheapest, but we deliver a good service.
Right. And in a way, I think it's fair to say, Gilda, we're all in a partnership with the tax authority, aren't we? But not in the way that company is perhaps suggesting there. Right, over to you, Anna, then, on production. I think you need your presentation on screen here. That's fantastic. Thanks, Anna. Yeah, and thank you for mentioning that, Gilda. Not all NIF services are created equal, are they?
First, we are going to talk about residency visas in general. And I'm going, because I already know you, expats forum, and the people that usually watch these types of content. So today I'm going to approach the D2, D7, and D8 visas. Okay, but if you want, you can just drop us a message, send to Jerry or Astrid, and we can have a webinar about other types of visas, such as the D1 or the D3 visas, or the job seeker visa also, because I'm not going to talk about the job seeker today. But if you would like to see a webinar for that type of visa, you can just send us an email and we will take care of that. So now, starting with these type of visas, the main difference is that we need to see if you want a visa to relocate to Portugal or just to have a residency permit. Next slide, please. Because living in Portugal, for living in Portugal, you need to get a D-type visa, a D2, a D7, or a D8. But for those type of visas, you need to have a minimum staying in the country, in Portugal. And this minimum staying is for the time of your residency permit, which for the first residency permit is going to be for 2 years. You can only stay out of Portugal 6 months in a row or 8 months if interpolated. Okay, this is the big difference between a residency visa and the golden visa, where you make an investment in Portugal, you get a residency permit, but you don't need to live in Portugal. So this is the main difference that you need to know and that you need to be aware of. Do you want to live in Portugal, or do you want to keep living in your home country because you are not sure if you want to move yet, but you want to make an investment to get a residency permit and a passport afterwards? So we are now going to start to talk about the D2 visas. The D2 visa can be 3 types of different visas. The self-employment visa, or the entrepreneurial visa, or the startup visas is the one that the same type of entrepreneurial visas, but the ones that need to be certified by an incubator. So I'm going to explain a little bit of the difference between these type of visas. The independent professional activity, to get this type of visa, you need to open your activity in the tax office as an independent service provider, and you need to show that you have a service contract in Portugal. For the D2 entrepreneurial visa, okay, so the specific requirements for the independent professional activities, you need to show at least the contract with the duration of minimum 1 year, and it needs to have at least the minimum wage. But from our experience, you should show a contract with a higher amount, because if you are going to come to Portugal as an independent service provider, you don't have a stable work agreement, so you will need to show that being self-employed, you can earn more than a minimum wage. This is not in the law. This is based on our experience, okay? And if you are, for instance, an architect and you want to come to Portugal to work, you can come as an independent professional, but you need to show to the Portuguese authorities in the consulate that you have a degree that you are able to develop that profession in Portugal.
Okay.
And then we have the entrepreneurial visas for immigrants. This type of visa is for those that want to start a business in Portugal. What is the catchy thing about this D2 type of visa? Is that you need to open a company in Portugal, prepare a business plan for showing the authorities what do you need to do, what is your intention of your business, and you need to put the capital to transfer the funds of the capital of the company accordingly to the articles of association and also with the business plan, and only after that you apply for the visa. This is a very complex type of visa. I must tell you that in the company, only me and Claudia, we used to do this, are the ones that usually deal with this visa, because it's very complex, although it's doable. And we have, I guess, Claudia, we have 100% success rate on this. But it takes a long time to prepare, and it takes you to make an investment upfront. And then we have the D2 visa for the companies. It's the same as the previous one, but for the companies that have an innovate and technological project, and that are incubated in a Portuguese incubator. This one, it's called the startup visa. It's like the previous one. The only difference is that it's an innovate project, most likely related with technology, and it's incubated within a Portuguese startup incubator. And what is the difference? The difference is that this incubator is going to issue a certification, and the startup visa is going to be issued faster than the previous one. Why? Because it has already a stamp that by a Portuguese incubator, that the business is good, and they are going to have investors in the business. So the consulate has 30 days to approve the visa, while if you are applying without a startup visa, the consulate takes 60 days to approve. Minimum, of course, we are talking about minimums here. And now we are going to talk about the D7 visa. which is one type of visa that I know that you like a lot. But also you have lots of misinformation about this visa, and not only not the whole consulates have the same criteria for this type of visa. So we, of course, that the main thing that we look for is the law, but we also need to see case by case and country by country what are the requirements for each type of visa in the different countries and in the different consulates. The D7 visa applies to retired citizens, for those who live from passive income, for citizens who live from financial investments, and also for a religious purpose. In this case here, we are only going to talk about the passive income because we know that mostly of you are coming to Portugal because you have passive income or investments. So in this case, you need to show to the consulate how do you get that passive income. Is that pensions, annuities, dividends, interests, royalties? It can be also rent from a house that you have. So you need to show to the Portuguese authorities how you are getting this income, and this income needs to you need to show that you have this steady income for at least 3 months before you apply your visa to the consulate. Also, it's not in the law, but we know in practice the consulates ask for it. You need to show that you have at least 50,000 euros of savings. And also you need to open a bank account in Portugal with what we suggest 20,000 euros to show that you are able to sustain yourselves in Portugal for the first years of your residency permit if something happens with your passive income in the meanwhile. All this is going to be looking and carefully by the person that is analyzing your process. Why do we, hey, as a company, have such a higher rate of success with our visas approval? Because we are very demanding when we are putting visa process together. Only do what the law says, we always put more, because we know that in this consulate they ask for this extra document. So now this extra document is going into our internal system. So we are going to ask for this extra document for all the other process. Sometimes people say, oh, but it's too much, but this person didn't need this. And we say, okay, so it's your responsibility not to choose not to put that document, but it's our advice to say that according to our experience, and we are doing this for 10 years now, you should have your visa process as much complete as it should be, in order to be approved with success, of course. Now we are going to talk about the visas for people that can do their professional activity remotely, also known as the Digital Nomad Visa or the D8 visa. The main requirements for this visa are that you need to show that working remotely as a contractor or independent, as a employee or as an independent professional, you need to show that you earn at least 3,480 euros per month. And this is already updated with the Portuguese minimum wage that came out in January. So this is the minimum that you can show to the consulates that you are able to get through your work, either through your work contract or as a independent person to get this visa. Other requirements is that you should show how you get your income. If you are an employee, you show your contract, and along with your contract, you should have a letter from your employer saying that you are able to keep doing your job in Portugal. It should say specifically in Portugal, because if it says only outside of the USA, the consulate can say, yes, but Portugal is a different time zone. It needs to be clarified if your employee allows you to go to Portugal. So it should clearly say Portugal. And of course, you need to show that you are a tax resident outside Portugal, that you pay taxes outside Portugal. Before we move to this type of visa, I forgot to mention about the accommodation for the previous types of visa. For the D7 visa, you need to show that you have accommodation 1-year rental agreement before you apply. But for the D8 type of visa, for the time being, they are only asking for 4 months accommodation. So an Airbnb will do for the moment. I think that they are willing to change this for the 1-year rental agreement also, but at the moment they are accepting 4 or 6 months proof of accommodation. Now we are going to talk about the residency visas for the family members. For all these type of visas, D2, D7, and D8, as they are residency visas, you are able to ask, while you submit your visa, you are able to ask for visas for your family, your spouses, your dependents, descendants, minors, dependent ascendants, civil partnership, if you can prove that you are together for more than 2 years, and minors adopted. Just before going through this, I want to say that it is very important, if you have family, that you apply for this visa for your family, because the family reunification nowadays in Portugal is very difficult to get vacancies with our migration authorities. While if you come with visa that you applied for your family to come with you, it's going to be faster for them to get the residency permit. I have here final considerations because this was just a presentation that I wanted to show you, but of course that we can keep talking about this. And as final considerations, I would like to say that for this type of visas, okay, all D type of visas, you have the residency permit. It's going to be granted for 2 years. And then after the 2 years, you can renew it for another 3 years. This means that first residency permit 2 years, second residency permit 3 years. After 5 years, you can apply either for the Portuguese nationality or for the permanent residency. Now, I think that we should open the debate here because you might have more specific questions about this type of visas that we addressed here.
We do have a few questions. I'm just launching a little poll as well as we turn our attention towards the questions. For the time being, thanks very much, Gilda, for that. Excellent. And your team behind the scenes as well, who've not only been helping with the presentation, but also answering some questions too. So that's fantastic. Thank you, Anna and Claudia. A few more hellos as well. And if you would prefer not to ask your question in the recording, we'll be hanging out a little bit more after with Gilda, Anna and Claudia, and we may be able to talk a little bit about Casa Portuguesa, where Anna also contributes to the teamwork there as well. So we've got, forgive me for not saying good evening to you or where you were, Lewis, in Port Ludlow, Washington. Lots of British names coming up tonight, like Coventry. I found out there was a Coventry in Rhode Island this evening, but Stephen, I believe you're in the original one, 1,000 years old, you say. We've got a lovely testimony from Debbie. I'm a very satisfied premium member. The info and friendship is invaluable. That's lovely to hear. And Evan Eisenberg, who has a question, greetings from the Catskills in upstate New York, where it is presumably colder than in Portugal. Yes, sorry. I always feel bad for moaning about Portugal when I hear of much colder temperatures like that. Richard Bonoit and Raphael in Albany, New York. Good evening to both of you. And Connie, our dear Connie, is in Chile, Gaia tonight. Yes, original Coventry, over 1,000 years old. Inteligencia Artificial for you in Portuguese. Thank you for that, Marcos. And Derek. Hi, Linda and Derek in sunny Lagos today. Now celebrating 20 months here. Can honestly say Gilda and her team made our dream come true. Oh, that's nice. Thank you very much. So first question then from Evan. Great. Here's one. On a D7 visa, are brief trips, say less than a week, to other parts of the Schengen area subtracted from your total residency time? Thanks. That is a great question, isn't it, Gilda?
Yes. So for the moment that we are talking, not yet, but most likely in October, yes, because in October, when it's going to be a new system that when you are circulating in the Schengen area, they are going to control where you are. For the moment, we don't have that yet, so you can be circulating, and this will not count as the days of the country. But from October on, this will change.
That's an official October, is it not? Are we going to be ready by then? Do you think when all the measurements, borders, the ins and outs of Schengen will be actually measured?
Well, actually, I have a funny story about that. Because as you know, we already had the deadline for that, and then we postponed. We had another deadline for that, and then we kept postponing it. And what happened? Portugal got in trouble along with other 2 countries. I'm not going to mention here.
Oh,
Got in trouble because they did nothing to implement the new system, nothing. So the European Union called them for a meeting, and said, okay, you did nothing, you are not prepared for this, everything is going to be delayed because of you, Portugal, and you, Portuguese, lazy Portuguese. And then what happened? In 4 months, the Portuguese hired all the high tech possible, and they worked a lot together with lots of entities, public and private entities, and they built this system that out of the blue, every other countries were like, wow, how come you came
Great. Brilliant.
from nothing to
Yeah,
this amazing thing that you have now? So now you are an example for the rest of the European countries. And
that's
now,
wonderful.
yes, and now they postpone it, not because of Portugal, but because of other countries. And they are learning with Portugal how they did it in such a short time.
I think probably the principle they used was like putting on a festa. You know, when suddenly there's nothing in a village, and they say, "Okay, the festa's this weekend," and then suddenly it's like transformed, isn't it, overnight? And maybe it's that same philosophy or mentality. That's great to hear. Thank you very much. Hope that helps there, Evan. Marcos, thank you very much for this. Can a married couple apply individually for their D7 visas, or should one spouse apply for a family visa?
Nowadays, it is a little bit irrelevant. I think I don't see advantage of applying separated. So if you are married and if you show your income together, your tax returns together, I think one should be the main applicant and the one the secondary.
There you go, Marcos in Houston there. Thank you for that question. Day, also, when applying for the D8 Digital Nomad Visa, do we need to show proof of plane tickets purchased? And what date would we need to purchase after the visa appointment date? For example, if my appointment is on January the 30th, what date do my airplane tickets need to have? And when applying for the D8 Digital Nomad Visa, how long is it necessary to leave the funds of proof of income in the bank, 10 grand? Do they take some time to review it beyond the application appointment at VFS? What if we need to use that money? Two great questions from Dave there. So the first one about the plane tickets, proof of plane tickets purchased.
Okay,
And the time.
so the plane tickets, you should show them. You are applying, let's say January
30th. If, for
30.
example, yeah, if my
Yeah,
appointment was
so
on January 30th.
you should show them at least 2 months after that, because um, supposedly they are going to analyze the process in 2 months. It should be always after that. But what we usually advise to our clients and what we do, it's that we don't show the final tickets. Why? Because if you buy the final tickets and if the visa doesn't come out, you can waste a lot of money.
Yep. Okay. Very
So
good.
it's if you work with us, we provide you a ticket reservation. If not, I'm sure that you will find a way to do it. But
That's great. And
it shouldn't be the final ticket.
thanks, Gilda. Money in the bank then, how long does it need to be in there? I think Claudia's already answered this, and it was a great news to Day. So what happens with that? What if you need to use the money? And yeah, how long is it necessary to leave the funds of proof of income in the bank?
You need to show the money while you are while the consulate is analyzing your process. Once you have your visa approved and you come to Portugal, you can start spending the money from day-to-day expenses, but keep in your mind that when you go to the appointment, you need to show that you have money in your bank account.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
don't take it all.
Don't take it all. And day-to-day expenses does include chocolate and wine for the
Yes, of
team
course,
as
especially
well.
wine.
Okay, very good. Trevor, hola Gilda, do we need a 1-year lease for our residence permit renewal? Our current 9-month lease is registered with Finances and our NIF have this address.
You need to show a rental agreement for the renewal.
Yeah.
And it needs to be you need to show that it is registered in the tax office. Usually it is for 12 months, but if you have it for 9 months, it will do.
Okay, very good. A few quickies then, and we'll make sure there's time for people to ask you questions privately after we finish the recording here. John's asking for D7, what are the requirements if you'll be staying with extended family? There will be no formal written lease agreement. Yeah, that I forget the technical term for that, but what if you're able to stay with family instead of having a tenancy? How
You
is
will
that these
need,
days?
in that case, you will need to have a term of responsibility
That's the one.
from
Yeah.
your family. Mhm.
Right. And has that changed in recent times, Gilda? Or how strict the government are being on that, for example?
They are being quite picky on this, okay?
Right. Okay.
And that was what I was going to mention. So if you're going to stay with your family, first you need to show what type of accommodation do they have? Do they own the house or do they rent the house?
Yep.
If they rent, you need to show the rental agreement, and the rental agreement must say that they are able to sublet.
Yep. Okay. Very
Okay.
good. Yes, the government making sure that that's safe and secure.
Yes, and then you need to show your family ID documentation, and it should know it. Claudia knows this better than me. It must be recognized by a lawyer
In
or a
Portugal.
notary in Portugal. Either the signature of the Torah and the identification of the person that is signing the Torah.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Yeah, well, let's keep it brief because we don't want to make the recording too long. And to join us every Thursday evening, become a premium member of Expats Portugal. You can do that at expatsportugal.com. And that means you'll also be able to hang out after the recording is finished and ask our professionals that we have every week here. Talking of which, Dream Team Town Hall is on at 9 in about 45 minutes. So yeah, a couple more then. You mentioned proof of plane ticket. That's a quick one. Is that for the D8? Is that the same for the D7 as well then, Gilda?
Yes, it is the
Okay,
same for the
very
D7.
good. Nice and easy, that one. Jude is asking, has the monthly income requirement for the D7 changed recently? That changes every year, doesn't it? Indexed to the minimum wage.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
Okay. All right, Elizabeth, then the final question. Thank you. Don't worry, if I haven't asked your question, we'll make sure it's the first thing we do after we close the recording. Elizabeth is asking, I'll be applying for D7 through Washington, D.C. Facebook groups mentioned that this office accepts a 6-month rental agreement. Is this true? I hear about rental scams and I want to make sure I provide correct documentation. You came to the right place, Elizabeth.
Well, according to the Portuguese law, it's 1-year lease. So if they are accepting 6 months, I don't know, but according to the law, it's 1-year lease agreement.
Yes. And that brings us full circle to what you said before, is you have a great success in getting people visas and you err on the side of being conservative and safe with the estimates and savings and make sure it's belt and braces, basically, is another way of putting it. And because one person managed to successfully apply with a 6-month tenancy, it doesn't change the law. And you don't operate like that, do you? You make sure things are fully covered so that people have the best chance of getting their visa.
Of course, because I'm going to give you one example. In the same consulate, 2 different people are analyzing and this happened to us. I'm going to give you a specific example. Claudia will remember what I'm talking about. In the same consulates, we applied for a mother and a daughter. And the process was made by us. Everything was okay. and two different people were analyzing the process. They granted the daughter the visa, and they asked for more information for the mother.
Okay.
Yes, interesting, interesting. So play it
So
safe with EI.
yes,
'cause-
so you need to think it. Someone maybe got through with the 6 months lease agreement, but if another person is analyzing your process, if you are going with 1 year lease agreement that is according to the law, they cannot deny.
Right, according to the law, absolutely. Well said. Thank you for including that, for mentioning that. Find Gilda and team in the Expats Portugal Business Directory, and of course, there's a discount off their services as an Expats Portugal premium member. Thank you, all of you, Gilda, Claudia, and Anna, for being here this evening. Stick around for a little bit longer. I think we have some more questions that we'll ask beyond the recording here. Thank you very much so far.